Hi, welcome to another You're More Than Their Mother video. My name is Sherilyn Dorsey, creator and founder, and I appreciate you joining me. Per usual, I am going to anchor my intention of good here, formally introduce myself, and we will jump into today's topic. All right, let's go. Hi, my name is Sherilyn Dorsey, creator and founder of You're More Than Their Mother, and I teach moms and women to reclaim, realign, and rebalance their lives and to go after their dreams. So today we are talking about the fact that just because you did the best you could doesn't mean it was the best thing for that person. I'm going to have to figure out how to make that all fancy in the title. We'll do that later. But I really need to flesh out this idea of thinking that we did a good job, so everything should be okay. People, your children should be okay. Or, not feel a certain way about whatever that may be, right? I want to talk about how, number one, egoic that is, and number two, how counterproductive that is for yourself personally as the person who beholds that idea, and then number two, for the relationship it is that you ideally, I guess, would want to facilitate with your child. First, let's talk about how egoic that is. If you think that, well, I did the best I could, right? That should be enough, and my child should just be grateful for that. That is an egoic posture, position it is that you're taking, because what that is ultimately saying is that I couldn't have done any better than I did. Number one. Number two, that I am without flaw or above reproach. So you just need to be happy with what it is that happened, right? Or number three, it's just like saying, I don't care how it impacted you. My intention is what's most important. Do you see how that can be harmful to not only yourself, but to the relationship it is that you are trying to facilitate or even understand better? Right? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. I'm so eager to hear where you land on that. When someone is telling you how it is that they feel, the goal is not for you to internalize what it is that they're saying as you being a bad person. It's not for you to take on some amount of guilt or shame with that, because there's nothing you can do about it. It happened, right? It's over with. And you have to move forward. The goal, and I'm talking about the personal goal, right? Because you don't know, you can't predict, right? What other people mean or their intention. But what you can do is manage, control, own how it is that you choose to feel about something. And for your greatest good, it would be beneficial for you to look at it as, number one, a level of awareness, right? To let you know, this is how you are showing up in the world. This is how you are showing up in the world is being internalized by this person. Number one, right? Bringing that to your awareness. And number two, it's an opportunity for you to do differently, right? It's an opportunity for you to do differently. Perhaps it's something as drastic as, hey, I need to disengage completely. Perhaps it's something as simple as, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. And a simple, how is it that this could work better for you? Just a simple question to them, right? Additionally, it could be something like you really checking yourself saying, wow, I see how it could be taken this way, and I can change my tone, right? So again, that's another level of self-awareness. right? So it's many ways that if you allow your ego or disengage or eradicate or move out of the way, whatever it is you want to say, if you get rid of that ego in that moment, you will be open to more ways in which you'll be open to more ways to be better. If it's a level of realization, if it's a level of awareness, whatever it is that looks like, it's all working for your good anyway, right? So be open to that. Most importantly, be mature enough, be evolved enough to know when it's time to release that ego, right? It's of no service to you right now. And as I go into the second point it is that I was going to make on this video of it being counterproductive, this is the perfect segue, right? This is the perfect segue. Basically, because all of those things it is that I told you right there, if it's not checked, then what happens is you begin to get defensive or combative in your response to this being brought to your attention, right? Because you think I did the best I could with something, and someone comes in with a critique, be it, let's say, a constructive critique. Let's stay on this level. A constructive critique of it, right? Someone who was a receiver of this behavior it is that you had, right? Or this pattern, or how it is that you did whatever it is that you did, be it your children, the way that you raised them, right? Or someone it is that you were close to and you had close engagement with them. But in this case, we're talking about children, right? Your children. If they are telling you their experience of you, right? It is something that you absolutely didn't expect or thought they should have taken another way. If you don't remove that ego, you become defensive in a way that invalidates inherently their feelings, right? Let's give example to that, right? Just so we can walk through this to make sure that this point is landing on you and there's no blame being thrown here, right? All right, here's what I mean when I say that. If they come to you and they say something like, you know, you used to do, you know, my hair this way, and I told you that I didn't like it multiple times, but you chose to do it that way anyway. And now because of that, I have this dislike of my hair, right? I have this dislike and I no longer want hair on my head, or I don't choose to take care of it because I had this experience with you, right? Of course, I'm trying to figure out something to make up, right? One way that you take that on, and that ego is in the way, right? And this is the counterproductive example I'm trying to give you. Well, what are you talking about, right? What do you mean with that? I kept your hair washed and I kept it braided or cut, you know, and it was just fine. You look cute. You got all these pictures that shows, you know, healthy hair, and this is how it should have been, et cetera, et cetera. So that automatically says to them, while all of those things may be true, right? All of those things may be true. What that says inherently in that type of response that I would deem combative or defensive is that I don't care really what you're saying, because this is what matters. When in reality, that's only what mattered to you, right? And I'm not saying that that's bad. What I am saying, right? What I am saying is they had a different experience than you intended. And that's what's important. So let me give you a better way to approach that as an example, right? That same scenario, and they said, oh, and this is why I don't take care of my hair or cut my hair, or why I don't, whatever, right? And you say, oh my goodness, I apologize. I apologize that I made you feel that way. That was not my intention, but I recognize that you had a different experience. And then you can be quiet. You can be quiet at that point, right? You can allow the silence to dictate the next point in the conversation. Usually the other person will jump in and say, well, it was just that, and they'll begin to explain more. And really, all we have to do at that point is to kind of listen affirmatively with things like, okay, I hear you, I understand. Thank you for telling me, right? Now we've moved back to the productive side of it, right? And most times when you find yourself engaged in that way, not only do they become more open to you and share with you even more about the why of their discomfort, but then they thank you for listening and appreciating their openness and honesty. Right? And then they start to facilitate solution from there. Right? And say, that is how it was, but that's how and that's why I don't do my hair, to this day. But I'm trying, though. They usually go into stuff like that. I'll get there one day, or, I'm just going to keep on, or I'm learning to make peace with whatever it is. They kind of walk themselves to their own solution. Right? So our resistance to feedback, right, is counterproductive to not only the relationship it is that you are probably trying to facilitate or maintain, it also impacts us, the individual. Because when our foreheads crinkle and when we get all exercised about something, or we get defensive, our blood pressure is raising, our stress level is, what is that, cortisol? Somebody who's into science and who knows the body in that way, please correct me. But our cortisol levels go up, right? And none of that's good for our body. And what our goal is to protect our peace. People get to have their experience of you. And moms, come in close, because this is a loving message for you. That includes our children. Because even though we did the best we could, it does not mean it was the best thing for that person. Right? So there may be some hard conversations it is that you need to have. And hearing some of those things may be hurtful to you. You may not even agree with them. You quite literally did the very best that you could. But I want you to understand that shame, guilt, upset are all choices. And if we can choose that, we can also choose contentment. We can also choose to just listen. We can also choose to release any judgment of how we feel or how that person feels about it, our child. And we can say, I see them for what it is that they are telling me. I see them for who it is that they are right now, better stated. That is an adult who had an experience that wants to give feedback. That's it. We're not calling that good or bad. We don't think that, well, that's my child. What are you talking? None of those things. And listen, I'm talking to myself too, right? So this is the no judgment zone over here. Because while I think and I'm aware of these things and I try to do them, some days are better than others, as I tell my children. So I say that to you as I say to myself, don't hold yourself hostage to those days. Just do the best you can every day and be mindful of what it is that you say and do and how you respond to things, and move on about your day. All right, so that's it. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Let me know if we need to talk more about this topic. And I want to hear your feedback on what it is that was stated about the ego, right? And about it being counterproductive. What are your experiences of that? All right. So, okay. I appreciate you for joining me today. Please do like and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel or follow me wherever it is that you're watching this from, and tell a friend. All righty. Thank you again for joining me. Until next time. But until we see each other again, remember, it's time to move beyond everyone else's expectations of who we ought to be and become the person and mom that we thought that we could be. Bye.